Today we are going to talk about the Scriptcase 9, the new features. We are doing some special webinars to show the new features. Let me just open here the Scriptcase 9 landing page. So we have some informations about the new features. We have just released the version 9 last week. It's already available for download. You can download from our website, and you can see here some tutorials. We have the conversion tutorial, very important. We had many customers coming during this week with questions on conversion, on project conversion. So we have a special tutorial for that. And we have all the new features with videos, videos that we did here during the webinars. And we have examples. And today we are going to do an example for the security options. So we have many changes inside the security model. We have the social login, we have the new encryption options, we have changes inside the database, the tables that Scriptcase security model creates. And I'm going to show you all the details during this demo today. So we are going to have 3 parts, okay? First part, I'm going to show you the general options and all the things we have added. And during the second part, we are going to do the social login. I'm going to show you how you can create the social login using Twitter, Google, and Facebook. And the third part will be for the Ldap Security. We have now Ldap Security integrated with the Scriptcase. Not for the applications, we had already for the applications, we have now for Scriptcase itself. So I'm going to show you how to set up this Ldap server to use with your Scriptcase. So this is going to be the things we are going to see today. Okay, I have here with me my colleague Ronian from technical support. Say hi, Ronian.
Hi.
Ronian is here just to help in case we have some technical question or something we need. Okay, so let's start. I will log here inside my Scriptcase 9. So the idea is to import the business intelligence project. So let's create a new project, business intelligence. I'll just import to my Scriptcase. This project was created now for Scriptcase 9. I recommend you guys to download it. And it doesn't have the security model, so that's why I'm going to use this one, because then I can apply the security model. Okay, so we are importing the project, creating the tables. We are using the default database, SQLite. So all the tables are going to be created inside my own directory. Let me open here the pop-ups. So this is the project. We have already some applications and dashboards, and we are going to apply the security model for this project. So let's go to models, security. Okay, here we have the 4 security types normally. As we had before in the version 8.1, and I'm going to apply the group security. Choose the connection. It can be the same. We have just created this new connection, so I don't have the security tables. I don't need to check this option to delete the tables, because I know that inside this connection I don't have yet the security tables. We can set to protect logged users. And I'm not going to use the social networks now, because we are going to create again for me just to show you this option. Okay, for now I want to present you another options from security model. So let's go next. The tables are created. We can see here the association. As we know, a Scriptcase security model will create the tables for the security project, and then Scriptcase will attach the security project to your project. In this case, we are using business intelligence. So the security model is like a small project that we create inside your project, and then we associate the security applications with your applications. So for that, we create some tables. And here you can check all the tables and the fields that Scriptcase is creating inside your database. You can go next. If you create the tables by your own, you can associate. But then you need to have the same fields and etc. So here we have some new stuff. We have the new encryption options. We had only MD5 before, and now we have SHA options for you to apply for the password. We have a new component. We have updated, in fact, the component for CAPTCHA. So you can use CAPTCHA and there is a new component. And here we have the new themes and nothing else. Let me just apply the menu and let's go to logging. Logging all the same. We don't have any new in here. retrieve password, also the same. And here inside new users we have this new option to set a default group. So if you allow, when you create the security models, you have the login screen, and then you have a link for you to access one application to create a new user. So I am a new user and I want to log on your system. I will have to register myself, and then this user will have this default group. We didn't have this option before, and what happened? The user was like lost. The admin had to go there and give the privilege, so then the user could access the application. But now with this implementation, we solve this problem, because every time a new user subscribes himself to the project, it will belong to this default group, and then you can, as administrator, you can change or you can give the privileges according to the user. Okay, so this option is just available when you choose here, allow the registration of new users. If you choose, for example, requires activation by email, it will be not active, and the same for send email to administrator. So because here you have different options, here you will have to send an email to the administrator so the administrator can register you. Here you have to require the activation by email, so a link will be sent for you, and then the admin will have to allow you or not. And here you'll be able to register yourself, and then we are going to have this default group for this option. Okay, understood this part? I'm going to show you later when we create the security. I'm going to show you inside the final application. Okay, email settings, normal. Here you will set according to the final user. Okay, so you need to know who is the admin from your system, from the system you are creating, and then you're going to add here the SMTP information, so the admin can receive emails, can send emails from the system. Logged users options, you can use brute force attack protection, and you can also decide if you want to see the logged users or not. If you say yes, Scriptcase will create another table to store all the logged users, so you can monitor all the users who are active in the system in that moment. Okay, so we have another option here, login template. So here you can attach a template you create with the external libraries to the Scriptcase security model. So if you say yes, we are going to enable here the templates, and you can choose. Inside the version 9 we have already some templates. You can see them inside the examples. If you have your own templates, you can access, for example here, you can access the external library and enable the template you have. So when you go back, it's going to be available here for you, so you can create your own templates and attach to the login screen. If you say no, the Scriptcase will create using the default login screen, that one which is very simple, just a little box with user and password. Let's use here one template. I'm going to use this login 01. And you can see, let me access here the website. If you go to the website, you have the samples applications, and we have a new option here, Scriptcase 9 features. You can access this application, and here we have the templates. So this is the number one, this is the number 2, this is the number 3, and this is the number 4. Okay, so you can use those templates are inside the Scriptcase already. You can just choose them here, as I'm doing, and I'm going to choose the number 1. Okay, so let's click next. Insert data, we are going to insert the admin and the administrator group. So you will note that now with the new security model, Scriptcase creates 2 groups. One group for the administrator and the second group for the default group or visitors, or you can also change the name. So it's going to be the 2 groups created by security model. The admin will be able to do all the settings inside the security model, and the second group, the default one, you will decide what to do, if you which applications you are going to add or which kind of users. Okay, but now we are creating 2 groups and not more one as the old security model. So let's click next. Include security all applications. Okay. Save profile, no. Let's just generate the security and generate the source code. So as you can see, the new options, they are very simple, already integrated. If you are user to apply the security model, you will see that's very intuitive to use. And then it's just test and see. Okay, we can see now 17 applications are being created by Scriptcase for this security model. We are generating the source code, and after that we can run the login screen. Okay, we can see already the new login screen. I'm able to log as admin, and here I can see the users, applications, groups, and everything from security model. If we go to groups, we are going to see that we have already two groups, as I said before, admin and default group. So inside the default group, I will have all my users. For example, let me go back to the login screen. Here you have the new user form. If I click inside new user, I will see this form. So I can add new users using this form, and all the new users I add from here will belong to the default group. So if I decide something different, it will be in the way I decide, but this is the default option the Scriptcase is applying now. Okay, so we have another form here for reset password. I have a question here. Can you show the grid application 2, where inside the security model, let me see if I have a grid application here. Well, those are all grid applications. In fact, they are here. You can see the logged users. In this case, we have only the admin logged. So this is a grid application. I don't know exactly what you want to see. Little. The second one, applications. This one. Okay, here you have all the applications from the project. So if I create a new application now that I have already the security model, I'll have to synchronize. I have the option here to synchronize applications. I can check, so I don't have application to synchronize, but if I create a new application now that I have already the security, I'll have to synchronize using this option here. Okay, because those applications are already synchronized because I did the synchronization when we were creating the security model. Okay, so you can also create new users. The security model is normal, just with this new option with the new group, and there is also a new option here. In the old Scriptcase model, in the old security model, we had the option to apply just one group per user. Now you can apply more than one group to the same user. For example, we have admin. Admin can be inside administrator group and also the group default, the default group. Okay, so you can have, for example, the user Marsha will belong to admin group, to default group, to sales group. Because now we have a checkbox here, you can select as many groups as you need. It was not possible before. Within Scriptcase 8.1. Okay, so this is also new for Scriptcase security model. Okay, Eric is asking, is there a diagram for the security model? We have a diagram for the project, for the whole project. Let me see if it shows. You have here the diagram for the project. It might include the security model also. Let me check. We have all the applications. Yeah, we have here the security applications. Sec groups, menu. I don't know if this is what you want to see. You accessing this option here, you will access the project diagram. Yeah, this is also updated inside Scriptcase 9. We didn't have this option before because we are now using a new library. So you are able to print, you can export, you can change here the visualization, and then it's going to be according to your project. You can put it resize the screen. This project is not very good because We have many applications inside the menu, but then you can use for your project as well. Okay, is it possible to change the security type in a second time? No, so that's why we are going to delete now, because I want to create the security model again, showing you the social login. So I'm not able to edit the security model. If I need to edit something, I'll have to delete and create again. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I will select all the security applications and I will delete. So I am inside here the security folder. I will delete the security applications, and I need to remember to delete as well the folder. Okay, and inside the menu, Scriptcase added the security options, so I need to access the menu and delete the security options we have here. Let me select everything. So I'm going to delete all these options here, and I'm going to leave only the 3 items we had before. So let's delete. So now I have one more here. When you're using the security model, every time Scriptcase is going to block your application requesting for security, you have one option inside the My Scriptcase that you can use. This is very handy for the development environment. You can not enable the use of the security. You can uncheck here this option, so you can test, and it will not it requires you to log in every time. So for the development environment, this is very useful for you to check here, so you can test the applications without having to log in every time. Okay, so we have our project back, and let's create the security model again, because now I want to show you the social login. Let me check here. I have one question from Stefan. Can I make changes in the database of the security model? Example, add a new field within the table. You can do it after the security creation. At the fields, yes, because you need to have the tables. Yes, you can do it after the creation. You don't have to recreate, because then you're just changing the database. You're not changing the security model itself, the automatic options. Okay, and you can also play with the events, because you have normal applications. You're going to have forms and grids, and you have the events. You can go there and play advanced stuff with the applications. After created, the applications are going to be yours, so you can change them according to your need. What you can change is the security model options itself. For example, now I want to create the login with the social buttons. So I didn't do this before, so I have to create again, because I cannot change the security model itself, but the applications after you create the database, you can change. Okay, so let's go to security model again, but now I'm going to use the social logins. For this time, I'm going to delete the tables, because I know that I have already these tables inside this connection, so I'm going to delete to override them. I'm going to use the social networks, and I can also use protect logged users. This is up to me, but now the important option is the use social networks. Okay, tables created again. We have here, when we are using the social network, we have a new table to store the details. We have the login, the social network type, and the network ID. So this is what Scriptcase is going to store inside the social network tables. And when you create the social network buttons, you'll be able to log in using, for example, Facebook, and then Scriptcase is going to add this user to the tables of users. And let's click next. Here we have the general options. Let's apply the menu again. Login, okay, retrieve passwords. We can keep all the options. And this is the option we have to set for the social network. We need to apply here the app ID and the secret for Facebook, Twitter also, key and secret. And Google, we need to apply the application name, client ID, and secret. So it's going to be different according to the social network. For the Facebook, you need to create a developer account. We have inside the manual, we have the steps for you to, inside our documentation. But it's very easy. You just go to Facebook, you create a new account, and then you will create a new project. Oh yeah, a new app, and then it will give you the key and the app ID. Okay, you need to follow Facebook instructions for that. And I have here already. Let me find the one Honia created for me. So let me apply here Facebook. If I don't check here the social network, it will not appear. The button will not appear inside the login screen. If you check here and add the options, you have the button. So I can use only Facebook or only Twitter or only Google or 3 or 2. It's up to me. So I'm going to add here the key and the password provided by Facebook for this project. Twitter, the key and the secret. And Google, I'll need one more, the application name, the client ID, and the last one is the password. Okay, inside the Twitter, you have, it's very similar to Facebook. You have to create a project, and then you will add there the option to use the authentication, and you have to do the developer account, and it is going to provide you the key and the secret. For Google, you have to create a project. They treat it different, and then inside the project you will create the credentials, and here you need to set also you need to add the domain where you're going to have the application. So for example, here we have the domain as a IP. If I test like this, it's not going to work because I'll need a real domain. So Scriptcase, Twitter and Google, they analyze the domain, they analyze the project when you apply that inside the social networks. So before you finish the project, you need to know, for example, my customer's domain is, I don't know, www something, and you need to go here to Google and inform already the domain where you want to have the application. So usually you inform the logging application domain. So we have here, for example, different domains, and I'm going to create one now for you to see. Let's just go next here. Okay, let's generate the security model so we can test. You can create for tests, for example, you can create a local domain. This is like an alias for you to simulate that you have a domain with your IP. So we are using Windows here 10, and then I can access a folder. This is the localhost DNS file. So here inside this folder etc, I can copy here the path for you. I can access the configuration file for me to create an alias for a fake domain or just something for me to simulate in a local environment. If I have already everything online, I don't need to do it, but then I'm working local here and I would like to have a domain just for me to test. So if I don't have this domain, it's not possible for me to test. So I'll just open this file where I can, let me copy here the IP. So I create an alias for this IP. I have here one for localhost, but I will say that this is the IP, and the domain is going to be, I don't know, xuxa.com. This is a TV show presenter from Brazil. Okay, so let's save, because this is how I'm going to simulate the social logins. It's not possible to simulate without a domain, right, Monia?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then let's go back here. We have already the security. Let's generate the source code, and then I will access the login screen. Do I have to add the domain here on Facebook as well? Yes, right?
Only Google.
Yeah, but here, let me see, configuration. Yeah, as you can see here, we have the application domain. I'm adding this shusha.com, and then I have some informations about my domain. In fact, it is Honian's domain, and I have to do the same for Twitter. Do I have to do the same for Twitter, Honian? So already on Twitter also you have to add the domain. So this is just a fake domain we are using, but if you are using a real customer, you need to add your customer's domain, and you cannot test local, just if you do in this way we are doing. Okay, so let me see if it's finished. Yes. So we are going to run the login screen again, but now I need to change here. If I test in this way and try to log with Facebook, for example, it is going to say that it's not possible to load this URL, okay, because I need to use a domain. So I'm going to add here the domain. I'll just change the IP by the domain. Okay, so now I'm using through the domain, and if I try to log here using Facebook, it is going to call Facebook and ask me to log in because I had already the login. Let me try with the, because I am already logged. Let me run the login again. I guess this is it. Okay, so now continue as Marcia, and I am logged inside the system. If I log as admin again and access the users, I'll be able to see that I have already Ronian because it was already logged, and I have Marcia as users. So the name will be provided by Facebook, a mail will be provided by Facebook, and the username is also the ID from Facebook or Google. Let's try with Google. Google. So I don't need, this is just the browser. It's bringing this admin. Let me see if I'm logged. For Google, I'll have to add the domain. As I said, we have here this area for you to add the credentials. So for example, we go here, copy, then we access the applications, ATPPP, okay. I just need to add the index.php and save. So this domain is already added. For the Twitter, let me try here again. It will be very similar to Facebook. You will use your Twitter login and log. So this is very simple to apply. The worst part is you to create the projects inside the Facebook, Google, or Twitter, and then bring just the keys to Scriptcase. It was possible to do before Scriptcase 9, but you had to do all manually using the control. I remember we did a seminar last year, I guess, a couple of months ago, showing how to do this using control application, but it was very hard because we had to do all manually. But using this option now is quite easy because you just need to inform the app and then do these configurations. But you will see that all the users will be added to the users table. And then you as admin, when you create the security model, you have to decide where these users will be added, and you need before you start you send out the applications, you need to define which applications these users will be able to see. Okay. Well, which is the best security type to control each user, each application? Yeah, the best one is group, because group, for example, you have a company and then you have the departments, and you can deal with separate departments. Each department will have different privileges, and then you just need to add users to the groups. You don't need to give the privilege user by user, but it depends on your system. If you have a small system just with, I don't know, 10 users, then it's better you create the application security type, because you are going to have only to go user by user and define. But then here we are creating by group, because this is the one that people use more. You can also synchronize the logging, associate the logging, this option here. So for example, you have, I am Marsha and I'm using Facebook to log in. If I use Google, I will have a new user. If I use Twitter, I will have a new user. So I am a single person and I have 3 different logins. So to avoid this, you can associate the logins. So I can come here and I can inform my Facebook, my Google, and my Twitter to the same user. And every time I use Google, Facebook, or Twitter, the system will know that this is me. I don't need to have 3 different users inside the system. So this is also possible. You can go here, associate login. Okay. And then the last part is Ldap. Okay, let's show now the Ldap security on Scriptcase. Okay, if you go to options, settings, you have the options where you can add new users to your Scriptcase. Scriptcase is like a normal system. You can have users, you can have groups. If you have more than one person using the Scriptcase, instead of giving the admin, you can create users. This is not just if you have many developers in the license, because as you know, we have the enterprise license where you can have multiple developers. So we have companies using Scriptcase for 50 developers or 25 or 30 developers. So it's possible, but if you have, for example, one professional and you used to divide this Scriptcase to other people, you can also create users. You just can use at the same time. To use at the same time, you need to have the license with more than one seat. So if you go here, you can see how many seats you have. So we have just 1 seat, so I can have 1 developer at a time. But it's possible for me to create more than 1 users. Those users won't be able to be online at the same time, but they will be able to have their own login information. Okay, so for big companies, you used to have Ldap Security. We have already Ldap Security for the Scriptcase model, and we have now added to Scriptcase itself. Okay, so to use the Ldap Security inside Scriptcase, you need to go to Security Type, and then you have Scriptcase or Ldap Security. You have also the option for groups and group users. It is new inside Scriptcase, because before you had only the option to use the option users, so you had to create the users and give the privileges according to the users. But now you can also create groups and add the users to the groups and give the privileges according to the group. So when you have many users inside Scriptcase, it will be very useful. Okay, so let's apply here the users, and you will note that if I change to Ldap and save, you have here security type and users in the left side. We have security type and users. So if I change to Ldap and save, I'll have security type and Ldap, because now I'm using Ldap, and I'll have to set here the Ldap server. So I have one Ldap that we use for tests. I have here the information. So this is the server. This is a local server we have here with the Ldap. Okay, the suffix I can add here, or I can also add, for example, like this. So it depends on how I have my Ldap server. So this suffix is not a mandatory field. If you add like this, it's going to work as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, if I add this this user I'm adding here, this is the Ldap owner. It is like the Ldap admin. So if I add this user and apply the Ldap Security, Scriptcase will not use the normal users and will start using this new user from Ldap. So the admin from my Scriptcase will not be the admin anymore, will be the user from Ldap, the admin from Ldap. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do by applying this option. I'm going to replace the users from Scriptcase by the users from Ldap. So I'm going to apply here, save. I can test also to see if the server is working. It's active, and save. Okay, when I save, I'm going here to users, and it's going to list all the users I have inside the Ldap server. So now these users are going to be my Scriptcase users and not the users I have added before. Okay, so if I enable, for example, this one, it's going to open the edit options, and inside the edit options I'll be able to give the privileges. This is the same as we have in the normal users. So let me just enable without privileges, and let's log out. Okay, because it is provided by Ldap server, right? Okay. And then the password and the login will be according to the. But what I want to show you is that this new user don't have any privilege here. And if you try to create a new project, for example, it will be denied because we didn't set any privilege to this user. So if you want to log again as admin, you need to use this new user, because this is now your new admin. That admin from Scriptcase does not exist anymore, because now you're using all the users from your Ldap. Okay, so if you want to give privilege to your users, you need to open that again, users, go here to the edit options, and then give all the privileges you want to. It's going to depend. Add the projects. Let's add here some projects and save. So now if I log as admin, I'll be able to use, because now I have the privileges. Okay, so now with the administrator user, I can see these projects and I can use normally, because I have admin privileges. And I can also access Ldap because I have all the privileges, and I can do the same. So this is just, but the users here will depend on how you have your Ldap server. If you want to use groups, it's also possible. If you list here groups, the Scriptcase is going to list the groups here instead of the users. So you're going to give the privileges to the groups, and all the users inside that groups will have the same privileges. So I'm showing here inside Scriptcase, but this is the same inside Scriptcase applications, because we had it before for the applications. We didn't have for Scriptcase itself, but we now have for both, for Scriptcase and for the security model. If you want to use the security model, but the difference is that the security model, you have to synchronize the users, right? Yeah, the users.
The group option on users.
Let me see here the questions. Is it feature only for those who has more license? No, as I was saying before, for example, if you have just one single license, you can have as many users as you want. The difference between you that have only one license and that someone that has 50 license, for example, is that you can access at the same time. If I open here another browser and I try to access the same Scriptcase with the same user, I won't be able to do, because for this license I have only one concurrent connection. But if I access, for example, I have a partner working in the morning and I work in the afternoon, so I can have two users. I'm going to use my own user, and I will open another user for my partner, and we are not using Scriptcase at the same time, but I can have more than one user. Okay, because these options for you to create users, it's available for everyone. You cannot just use at the same time if you don't have more than one connection, but you can have more than one user. We are going to do more webinars for the version 9 features. We have more options. I'm going to schedule more webinars and demos. Okay guys, so this is all for today, and thank you very much for attending, for staying here with me so far. I hope you enjoy it and you have learned things, and see you next time, see you next webinar. Have a nice weekend. Okay, bye bye.